Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I feel like extra washed out for some reason. Like, I haven't changed the light settings, but it just feels brighter. Anyway. Technology. We love it. We love it. But anyway, good to see y'all. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. And congratulations, Kit. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of the closest we're getting to the Streamiversary this year. Yeah, Friday is the 3-year anniversary of Stream, and that is wild. It's crazy to think about. We've done a lot in the last 3 years. Time to make cinnamon rolls. You're sick. Get back in bed. Don't make others by making cinnamon rolls and then coughing on them. That's gross. And Roxy, I don't blame you for not being interested in being a part of society today. Instead, you can be a part of Minecraft. So let's get in. Let's dive on into Minecraft. I already coughed my family. It's fine. Yeah. Fine. I'm not gonna win this one, am I? I'm just not. Anyway, for the anniversary build, we're working on the monolith. I added a picture of the monolith. This is actually the like statuette that comes with the anniversary, or not anniversary, the like special release edition. It's actually one of the clearest pictures of the monolith, so I'm like, you know what, we'll use it. And we're not trying to do like a one-to-one, but like, you know, evoke. So I think the idea is on this side we'll kind of curve gently up to there, and then this side we can just kind of curve down and connect. And then we can kind of work on the upper portion here that's kind of above the angled line. I did a few things off camera. I added a ring of gold. That's only found on the model, but I thought it added a nice delineation with the water. And I replaced the back of this with wall instead of just brick, and a few random spots just to test out like how pockmarking might work. So there, that's kind of where it will connect to. Yeah, that should be fine. And again, we'll go back in later and add kind of these bricks and other stuff to give it just like a little more texture, and so it's less monotone. In fact, I think I could potentially even reduce that a bit. Yeah, make it a bit steeper. So, other than the fact that Gale and Bad Roxy are a household of the sick, how is everyone doing today? Yep. Your teeth hurt. Oh, new braces. Yeah, that would make teeth hurt. So top, yep, perfect. Trying to just, if I fill in these sides first, then I can just fill in the back with, like, whatever shape. Kind of parabolic. Dear Minecraft son, please. Please. Find a new orbit. I cannot see what I am working on. I should have rotated this whole thing 90 degrees so that the front was on this side the whole time, but... little late for that. Okay. Yeah, because above the archway, it's actually... we're not really proportional in the same way. I think I made the archway too big and the 3 not big enough comparatively, but again, we're not trying to do a one-to-one. We are doing an homage. So it's okay if it's not perfect. We can just claim artistic license. It's a fancy way of saying I screwed up and I don't feel like taking credit for it. Now this side's going to be a little trickier because it can only go down so, or up so high. That's probably too far out, actually. That's the other tricky thing. But as I fill this in, I think we'll get there. I think it'll all work out. All will be well, all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. Dang it. Like a little shelf in here. Need to fill that up a little bit. Well, I think it's looking fairly monolithic. I thought I was done for a moment. All right. I think that's the back, or the top half of the monolith completed. So now there's this, like, band of gold here in the middle. Kind of follows that, then there's kind of a bit of an uptick in the middle of it. Because there's kind of like a rock here-ish. That goes straight up. And then itself has an angle back. And we can come back and add more texture and depth to this afterward, but for now it's just kind of first mapping out the shape of it. And there's kind of like a series of floating rocks on this side. So we'll make that, I guess, more or less as one complete structure. So we'll cut some notches into it. So roughly speaking, height-wise, it comes up. Actually cut that back into the notch like that. Probably actually a good place to use walls just to help with like the height differences. It's like these rocks kind of touch a little, but not really. And this one kind of has a jagged thing on the bottom. Which again, we don't necessarily need to get 100%, but... And this tower in the back I can actually get rid of. That was just like a height marker to indicate where we wanted to build. Here's the material. It looks nice. It is called Blackstone. So we're using a palette of Blackstone, polished Blackstone, raw gold, gilded Blackstone, Blackstone wall, glowstone, and polished deep slate. So, but those kind of give the effect of the floating rock. I think one thing I want to do though is maybe extend this one up a little more because it kind of sticks out. No Blackstone? No. The main thing is Blackstone. The main brick. That's what this is. But we're using other forms of Blackstone to help enhance some of it. Just out to there. Oh, you were joking. That's what Kappa is for. Oh, it's one of the universal emotes on Twitch. It's the black and white face of a guy kind of looking smug. Hey, it's Inca with Kappa. Yeah, it's just kind of become shorthand in Twitch land of I am speaking sarcastically, don't take this seriously. But yeah, if we come in here with some Blackstone wall, kind of maybe carve out some sections. I'll give it some more interesting depth. It's all good. It's an opportunity to learn. Every day we learn something new. Sometimes it's something helpful. Okay, I want to just fill in these rocks a little from behind, just so they're not flat. Sometimes it's what a picture means, Kappa. Like I said, sometimes it's useful. Cheese says hi from the driver's seat. Hey! Good to see you, little Cheesy. Good to see you too, Cheezo. Drive safe. Totally get why you're not there. I may have depth, but I'm not so sure about these rocks. They're a little one-sided right now. This can actually cover up the gold from this side, so that's nice. We'll leave that one uncovered. Actually fill in a little bit there. Okay. So now a little bit more of the shaping happens. So, hey, you're all good, little Cheesy. I just said hi. Ads be like that. We must accept their reality. No, you must not. Ah, I must deny the ad. Well, I wish I could deny the ads, but can't do that. Deacon Fred asked if I could make Pauls and Corporals for his new parish. Current one are Threadboard and Ward. Oh dear. I'm gonna make liturgical colored Pauls and Corporals with matching designs. Oh, very nice. Does the design on the Paul have to be a cross or IHS is I don't know if there are any actual like norms or requirements of what a Paul must be made of. Or like what the designs be. Corporal typically is just a cross, but does not need to be. I think I feel like I've seen more intricate designs, but again, do not take what I say as absolute truth. Hey, vibes. Yeah, so I think I want to go in and add some stair pieces now, and then, because I like the general shape. I like the general shape that we've got going. But I want to add in some stair pieces, and then more of the gold, the gilded stuff, and then so I think adding some stairs will help soften some of these. I don't need to soften them all, but... Yeah, thank you. 3 years of streaming. It's wild. I'm just adding these purely randomly. And I think it's working. I'm less concerned with the backside, but... Have I ever done a subathon? No, I have thought about it, but yeah, life schedule makes it a little tougher. I'd really have to plan that one in advance. I did the 12-hour stream once, and that was a lot of fun. But with subathon, yeah, I'd have to, like, be very intentional, like, when I do it and kind of the rules around it. Because I know some people will, like, literally not stop streaming until they have reached their end time, and it's like, that's wild. Other people will pause and do it over the course of a series of days, which is probably more like what I do. It's like, how long each day would I do it? And so it's definitely something I've thought about, but just have not had the ability to sort of concretely plan it all out and actually do it. We'll add in this gilded blackstone first. And then we'll go back. We'll add in maybe a little bit of polished blackstone and blackstone wall and deep slate elsewhere. Chiso is asking ability or audacity? Well, I don't know. I think I have the audacity to do lots of things. It's great audio editing software. Streamer you're watching is doing a subathon for anniversary and literally sleeping on stream. Yeah, that is a choice, and like I think with certain personalities it works. You would not get that from me at all. You know, I am not I show speed. Or just speed, I guess, is what he's actually generally referred to as, but... There we go. That's looking more appropriately bespeckled. Can still add more, but... Did I complete Claire? I did. I did. Oh my goodness. What an ending of a game. What a game in general. Yeah, that's why we're... I think the Monolith encapsulates not just year 3, but kind of the ethos of the stream in total of, like, you know, trying to explore gaming and meaning in games. So that's why we're doing this for the anniversary build. It's kind of like it's like a stone birthday cake with a 3 for the stream. Yeah, ending. Oofda, first of all. I think Mael's ending is the canon one, but is terrifying and messed up, and is kind of a great metaphor for addiction in some ways. I think Verso's ending is much more satisfying and what is needed. Let's add a few random blocks of gold. Why not? Just some full force gold. Not a ton, just a few. Barely see this anyway. I don't want to have rain on top of it. I will not be building the paintress. That just looks way too complicated for my abilities. You know, I thought about adding more of like this in for texture, but I honestly think the gilded blackstone's largely enough. I'm pretty happy with that. Like that feels evocative of the idea. Like it's a little fatter on the right. It should be hemmed in more, but again, we are doing an homage, not a one-to-one. If I was doing a one-to-one, this would be... I'd honestly be working at a much larger scale, I think. But I think this like... I think you can see them go, oh yeah, Clair Obscur. And the 3 is for the 3rd year anniversary, of course, instead of 33. Kind of a cool piece to walk around. Although I think I realize why these feel so flat, is they're flat in the front. So let's add some, just a little bit. This is one of the anniversary buildings. The anniversary itself is Friday, but I'll be at TwitchCon, so I won't be able to celebrate. on that day. But we always do an anniversary build. So year 1 was The Door to Darkness for Kingdom Hearts, because that was the very first game I ever streamed. Year 2 was the Willy Wonka style candy shop, because that's when I introduced the terrible candies. And now year 3, we just beat Clair Obscur, and it encapsulates the idea of the RPGs and finding faith in gaming. And it has a 3, so it works out well. Ah, speaking of candy, Kit has redeemed a candy spin. Here, hold on. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I'm comfortable saying that is our monolith. It's not perfect. Like, I think it could use some more refining and shaping, but sometimes it's okay to just let a project look at a project and go, this is what I've learned from it. This is what I would do again. I'm not going to keep working on this one. It's okay to let a project end and say, I have learned, and it's okay to exist in its imperfection. And I'm trying to do that more. Do the original candy, please. Well, I don't have the original candy anymore. The original candy was the Brax Festival Fall Carnival candy corn. I could do the autumn leaves, I guess. It's the closest we've got. They're not as bad. They honestly, the flavors aren't nearly as bad. Now, these are incredibly stale. I bought them last year. It's a shame they never made the candy corn one again, which, ooh, some of those flavors, like there was the funnel cake one that tasted like, you know, if you're in a place that uses a deep fryer and the oil kind of gets in the air and it sticks to the walls and then like dust and stuff sticks to it. Yeah, it tasted like how that looks. Here, I'll grab a handful of flavors. I don't know what these flavors are anymore. I grabbed a spice cider, apparently. Salted butterscotch? Why do they have... These are both supposed to be salted butterscotch, but their colors are so different. And it's not like this is exposed to the elements. They sit in my desk. These are going to hurt my teeth. Kid out here who's getting braces like, I'm going to make Father Evan get braces too. I can't chew it. Oh. Hello, Flavor. Also, Spotify. Why? Oh. Woo! The spice cider one, I think, had actual cinnamon in it. And it was able to revert to actual powder. Woo! That was a flavor of all time. Was that a flavor experience? Was that was that flavor blasted? It reminds me of the time I had to do the Cinnamon Challenge at youth group. Not our youth minister's best idea. No, the Cinnamon Challenge is actually dangerous. Also, you're making me feel really old now. Because if you did that during youth group, and I remember that, I guess that would have been high schoolish for me. Maybe college. Anyway, now that we are done with our anniversary build, we can return to our normal build. How old am I? I'm 34. So we were working on this greenhouse. If you're in high school, and that'd be... Well, it depends on how you define youth group, I guess. Sometimes I hear youth group and I think, like, grade school or middle school. Okay, so we need a lot more of the pale oak logs, which fortunately we can go get. I've got 4 to 5 years on you. Okay. I just find it funny sometimes when, like, some VTubers will be like, I'm so old, and it's like, they're 23. It's like, if that's old, what am I? Lo, I am ancient. I'm not the Ancient of Days, though. That's the title for God. Yeah, I feel like, honestly, mid-30s are a really weird space. They're very liminal, because it's like... On the one hand, I'm still technically, like, a young adult in, like, church categories and, like, ministry and things. But on the other hand, it's also like, oh, I'm almost middle-aged. You are the Ancient of Twitch. Oh, I am not the Ancient of Twitch. Twitch has been around much longer. No. I know of some of the ancients. Because Twitch was started in 2011, and there's some people from the beginning who are still streaming. I am the Ancient of Twitch? No. Which reminds me, the Skyrim grandma is retiring. Which is sad, but... You are the Nana of Twitch. This is true. Okay, the fact that this isn't decay. Aha! It's like, I feel like there's probably a log hidden in there. In fact, there were 2. Oh, there's still a bit of cinnamon. So we're going to use these as kind of paving stones, so that's why they're there, just as reminders. I'm saying that mostly to remind myself. Need to build the rest of the glass wall separating there. I'm just kind of picking up where we left off, because it's been a while since we've worked on this. It's been a couple of weeks. It is night. Let me go to sleep. Need our silk touch pickaxe. We'll break these. So I think we'll bring them the wood. Oh, sorry. Cinnamon candy is a gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, we'll bring the wood up to there, and then we'll have the glass go across. Squirrel Edge has asked for a mod poll. Good to see you, Squirrel. You got anything particular in mind you want to ask, or do you just want to let the mods make it up as they go along? Mod's choice? Alright. Hopefully it mod it. Is Brayherd still in chat? Is Gale still in chat? I saw both of y'all. But I recognize if you're busy and life is happening, you know, there's only so much you can do. Ah, Gale is there. He's busy with cinnamon rolls. Trying to figure out how to do polo on mobile. Ah, good luck. Although I will say I am happy they introduced mod view onto mobile. I'm only mod on a single channel other than my own, so it's the only time I get to use it, but it's still neat. Wait. I need the end caps. Pull is up. Better baked good. Ooh. What options have we got? You are allergic to wheat, so can't have anything on the list. Oh no! Well, I'm sure you can find a gluten-free variant bakery somewhere. Hopefully. I've never done it, but I understand that baking gluten-free is difficult because without the gluten, you don't have the same binding, and so it's like... Is it hailing or just raining? Just raining and thundering. And now it's doing neither. Some good rice-based monkey bread. Ooh. I feel like monkey bread is the name of a thing that, like, based on the name, I'm like, my brain says, ah, yes, this will be good, and then I can't help but shake the feeling that I don't like it, and I'm not entirely sure why, because I can't entirely place what monkey bread is, but there's just part of my brain which is going, no, you don't like that. You don't want that. What am I looking for? I'm looking for glass. Maybe I was cooking up some glass back at the base. Same rules except rolled dough with filling. It's round dough surrounded by the filling. Oh. I don't know why my brain is telling me I don't like that then. And challah is such a broad category, in all honesty. Like, there's so many different ways to do challah. I saw that on there. I was like, ooh. Sand. I think we're going on an adventure for sand because we're going to need more because we need glass. But, ooh, my shovel should be fine. It's got unbreaking. I just need to do some AFK fishing. Get my shovel fixed that way. It's fine. We're fine. It's all fine. Exactly. Yeah, it's totally fine. Everything will be fine. We just have to go do more strip mining in a desert. Oh dear, I'm actually... Ooh. So there's if you're gliding, and then you hit the water, you stay gliding, so you can't swim fast. So I actually have to... There we go. Now I can actually swim faster. Look at all the pretty coral. Oh, this will be fun. So sand has gravity in Minecraft. But if it spawns in with nothing under it, it will stay. But as soon as one brick goes, there goes. So sometimes you can walk into a desert, like, I hit this one sand, and then everything just starts sinking. It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere. You knew Darth Vader was such a whiner. I'm sorry, one moment. This cinnamon is just still bugging me. Wow. I wonder if I could get a sponsorship from Brax. They need to bring back the outrageously weird flavors, though. From the Fall Festival. I can't talk. Fall Festival candy corn. It's a mouthful. That's... So I can burn 8 stacks right now. This one oven only has 2 pieces of coal in it, so it's like, eh. That's okay, that's progress. Looks like cinnamon rolls are the superior cinnamon-based baked good. It was a good choice. Honestly, other than what my brain was telling me, they all sound good, but there can only be one. These are the rules. I don't make them. I just arbitrarily enforce them. You need to make a few of those. Oh, these can be normal logs, actually. This is the one that's stripped. Seriously? One fell on the inside and one fell on the outside? We'll figure out how to put a rose window in here. That doesn't sound like a today problem, though. Oh, wait, no, no, no. Ow, my ankles. Because those need to be end cap pieces. There we go. Little crossbar support. Yeah, I'm wondering if someone's ever done like a build in Minecraft where they have to follow actual like construction logic, if that makes sense, where it's like, you know, so that's my height, so that should be 1, 2. Yeah, perfect. Where, like, you know, they can't have something like this. New pull up, green or purple? Oh, there's a correct answer to this one. Wow, 4 people are wrong. I can't believe it. Oh, and Gale has redeemed a candy. Oh, whoop, there goes some fireworks. Fireworks for the candy spin. Thank you, Gale. Make sure that's the same height first. Yep, it is. Good, 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 good. I left the monolith up this entire time and no one said anything. I was there for ambiance. Fair enough. I'm actually almost out of brew candy. Game like Minecraft, but you need to use construction logic would be interesting. Yeah, I've seen a physics mod that was pretty funny. You're nearly free! Yeah, the brew candy. There's plenty of other terrible candy, and I haven't even done the, pickle roulette. I think I meant to do this with the 12-hour thing, but I totally forgot. But it can be green apple, lemon, lime, watermelon, or pickle. Maybe we'll do that next week when I get back to celebrate the anniversary. Oh. Who thought a coffee stout beer would be a beer candy would be a good idea? Because quite frankly, it doesn't taste like any of those. Except maybe a little bit of the coffee, but in a bad way. It tastes like coffee soap. I like what the iron bars do shadow-wise on the other side. I'm just worried, though, because one day I'm going to be going through my candy drawer, and I'm going to find an errant brew candy and go, oh no, there's more. And now it's just salty. This candy is just so many flavors. And none of them good. Have you got your building plans approved by the city? City Hall hasn't been built yet, so we're gonna wait for that one. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Oh. Can get some repairs on the shovel here. How can City Hall be built if City Hall can't approve the buildings? These questions indeed. They haunt us. Hey, Rota! Happy feast day of St. Teresa of Avila. Spanish mystic and nun. She is actually a patroness of the Paulist Fathers. Our founder, Isaac Hecker, really liked her mystical writings and found a kindred spirit in them. And part of her mystical practice was a very, Oh, Chuzo chose green with channel points. Oh. I can't spend channel points and pulls as the streamer. It's not allowed. Anyway, there's a very practical element to her spirituality and mysticism in that she would just sit in her cell in her room and just have an empty chair there and then talk to Jesus. Just like imagine him sitting there, and indeed he is there present to us as he always is in prayer and in our relationship to him. But like just had a very informal conversation of like, you know thee, thy, thous, just, hi Jesus, how are you? You know, and Jesus wants us to have those interpersonal relationships with him. That. Oh, I need to make more panes. Of course, there's also the time that she was traveling between two of the monasteries that she founded, because she was a big reformer in the Carmelites and helped found a bunch of new monasteries. And her cart that she was traveling on tipped over and pinned her down for a while. And her first response was to shout to God and say, see, this is why you don't have more friends. This is how you treat them. I missed one spot. Ow. That's not how I'm gonna get to it. Hey, we did it. Okay. So rose window there, they'll be made out of glass panes with surrounding iron bars and then regular glass blocks. That way it's kind of recessed, just like this stuff is. But I'm going to take these two to make some panes. That should be enough glass panes for now. Let's seal off this portion. I should really have my Silk Touch pickaxe with me. What? Ow. Turns out, balancing on thin glass panes is difficult and painful. Sometimes working with glass, it gets... Glass on glass, it gets a little confusing what I'm looking at. Hey, Shinovision. That's why I should have brought my Silk Touch pickaxe with me. I live here now. That glass helps you see clearly? I mean, it can, but... You know, dirty glasses are still glass. Doesn't mean you can see clearly. Big glass is clearly lied to me. Wow, Peter's in the pocket of big glass. No, sorry, he has big glasses in his pocket. Ow. There, okay. This section of the biome is completely, separated. Hey, Mithril. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Also gonna need a lot of iron for this project. I think I have plenty of iron in some of my mines that I never actually got out, but the problem is finding it. Pretty good start, though. I don't want to use it all of the iron I have into that because it's a one-way process. I imagine there are mods, though, probably like Create or something, where you can melt down metal things to repurpose it, because that's how metal works. All the glass out of there. Trying to keep the workspace a little organized so it's easier to know what I have and don't have. it's this one. Nope. Saddle jump like that was not going to get me there. No, why are you not... There we go. There we go. Okay, so other than the rose window and then actually decorating and putting in, like, the paving stones, but, like, the walls are done of this first biome now. I think that's a cool little space. A fitting stream. Thank you. Oh, we still have half an hour. Actually, this needs to be one tall. The wood needs to come all the way up to match with everything else. I'm gonna have to fix that. Ah, nailed it. All that practice in parkour paid off. All right. Tell you what, Twitch chat, I need a quick bio break, so we're just going to take a quick commercial break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. Okay, what portion do I want to work on next? I think I'll work on this back wall because it's just gonna be. This is just gonna be flat. It'll be arched a little bit up here, but that's about it. Well, no, actually, the archway will run all the way, so it'll only be flat in this portion. First thing I'll do, though, is I'll delineate the next sort of biome area. Worry about the exact proportions of that later, but ow. She needs to go into creative to check this out. Okay, that's what I thought. Then we'll have glass panes like that. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this, because, like, if the archway continues all the way back here, like, it would continue like that, so it would need this wooden pillar to kind of delineate it, which would cut out right here. And make sure I get this lined up properly. And right here. Which leaves me with 8. blocks to do with something, but the problem is the pattern is 5 wide, so I can't do... Concerning math. It's like if I do 3 and 3, then I have a double up in the middle, and I don't want double up. What if I did... No, that's fine. That stays where it's at. What if we did... Hey, Britt. What if we did... wall... That leaves me with the same doubled up problem. Which I'm solving here on the edge by having this wooden pillar. Maybe that's what I do? Do I just... I don't know, wooden pillar? Right there? Just have it go... Something's off. Oh dear. This whole section, this whole line right here is off. It needs to be on the other side. Which isn't a huge problem, but it does impact the glass use here, which actually makes it easier. Glad I caught this now and not after I had built the whole roof. Ow! Elytra doesn't work when you're falling straight down. I'm doing fine, Britt. Other than discovering that everything was off by 1, which is fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so I'm left with this space of 8. I kind of don't want a pillar like this. Like, I like this on the ends, but not like the first thing you see, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit of a different pattern, but still like the same idea. So this would basically be kind of like that. It would be like that on the top. I think that's what I need to do. It's all good, Brit. Stream is here for all people when they're able to. Fortunately, I don't take attendance. This is not a college class. I don't do roll call. It's not part of the grade. Imagine if there was like roll call in Twitch chat. You get bonus like channel points or something for it. I guess that's kind of what the view streak is, but on vacation. Hey, that's awesome. I hope you have been having a great time. Think it should be that one. Yes, great. That is the correct height. Went to a wedding, and then back to the city. Went to college see people and chilling at a cousin's house. Hey, nice. Sounds like a good time. Sounds like a nice mix of events for a vacation. Okay, now the other thing I did not think of is if this is going to be arched. I guess these just go straight up. Like, I guess there is no... That sounds like a next week problem. How am I doing on end brick walls? Pretty good. I think we'll be good for now. Future you will be upset with past you, but that it doesn't need care. Well, no, I think it's more just, I'll need to figure this out later. Looks at clock. I have 7 minutes, and I have a special mass to get ready for tonight. We're doing a healing mass for the community, so just, extra prayers of healing, and we'll offer anointing of the sick afterward. But yeah, this is the greenhouse. That's what we're working on, Brit, is coming along quite nicely. We have the first biome area finished, and we have the main entry and main biome and entry area, and then the third biome. What is the injury? If you could share? No. I'm attending, like, or I'm concelebrating. I'm there to help administer this anointing of the sick. Like, I'm fine. I do not need the anointing of the sick, but I am the minister of the anointing of the sick, and they wanted an extra pair of hands, so they asked me if I could help out, and I said absolutely. You're in Central Time. We have no concept of time. Time's an illusion anyway. But yeah, we are almost done. Yeah. Not a massive reparation. Not like what had to happen at St. Peter's. That was disgusting. No. Like, if anyone in the community is sick and wants to be anointed, we're having mass, special prayers for that, and then at the end, if folks want to individually receive the sacrament of anointing, I will be one of 4 priests present to help administer it. This is the second time I've got to do this as a priest. It's actually really a special kind of event. I got to do one in my previous assignment, like 2 weeks after arriving, and it was with the bishop. It was really cool, just getting to talk to people and administer the sacrament in a way, because I do it in hospitals, and it is very special and powerful there, but there are different kinds of ailments that people bring forth in these settings, and so it's a really powerful, intimate moment to be with them. So, finish the ball, design it across. I didn't notice. Oh, there you go. I imagine, yeah, if it's a church embroidery pattern, it probably has a cross. Yeah, I think that's where we'll call it for the day. A few minutes early, I know, but it's kind of one of those like, we don't really have enough time to get started on anything big. So, take one last quick look at the monolith, I guess, since that was the celebration of the stream. 3 years, my goodness. I say that a lot, but my goodness, it means a lot to me to have y'all be a part of this community and to have been doing this for 3 years. And I'm not graduating, as the VTubers say. But you know, it's just it's overwhelming sometimes. It's really amazing to think about 3 years. So. Backside's a little more plain, but that's okay. It's the backside. I'm happy with how the monolith turned out. I think it's pretty cool looking. It's not perfect, but you know. But it adds nicely to the garden of creativity for year 1, year 2, and year 3. And it's the only one to have the number on it. Yeah, it has been an amazing 3 years. I'm super excited to continue this project and see where it continues to grow and be with y'all. And because I get to do things like go to TwitchCon and ReachCon and keynote at Doxicon and all sorts of amazing things. And that's not about me, it's about us. So I'm looking forward to TwitchCon this weekend. That'll be fun. Because, yeah, I get to just walk around in collar. And I don't know if folks are going to see my collar and be like, oh, is that a costume? Or they're going to be like, oh, he's actually a priest. So, we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. And thank you again to everyone for being a part of this community, celebrating 3 years. The actual anniversary is this Friday, so say a special prayer of Thanksgiving and also just for the continued guidance of the Holy Spirit in this project. Also, please keep me in your prayers for safe travels. Long flight to San Diego. But yeah, because of that, there is no stream tomorrow. I can't stream from an airplane. It just doesn't work. But yeah, I'll be back probably Monday. I have a red eye, so we'll see how it goes. If it goes poorly, I probably won't stream because I'll just need to sleep. But if it goes all right, I'll probably still stream. But Tuesday, Neva Part 2. Probably going to be wrapping it up because it's not that long of a game, I think. Continuing on the Greenhouse for midweek Minecraft. And then Thursday, more Riven. So, a red eye and coded? Probably not good. No, actually, that sounds like it might make an amazing combo. That's all I'm saying. I had to get a red eye though, because things at TwitchCon keep going Sunday until like 5 p.m. and it's like people gotta travel. And I didn't want to pay for an extra night at the hotel just to delay the flight by a day. That seemed uneconomical. But anyway, these things that happen exist. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Play. It's been great to be here with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Like I said, scheduled for next week. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's given bits, liked, subscribed, shared, all that good jazz. Oh, there goes Emma on her way out for the night. Yeah, let's find someone to raid into. Gonna send you over to Brosiflacask, space crusading VTuber, fun guy, but not a mushroom, which is good. Anyway, he's playing 7 Days of Skeptic, which is made by Yahtzee Croshaw. They're interesting little point-and-click adventure games that he's been playing, and you know we're a fan of those around here. So raid call will be Father Raid, but anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.